Hey there, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Rental Robert with the Hustle Nation, and we are back to having coffee with Robert. So, just kind of a couple things that they're kind of some epiphanies or things that I really don't think about, and then they came true, speak, or they materialized to where not only did I have to acknowledge them, but I had to look at it and say, how does that apply to you? So, man, that sure tastes good. We're in the process of, I've had a warehouse for 7 years, got a smoking deal on it, and their business has boomed in the last couple of years, and so they have asked me, hey, we need you to go bye-bye and get our warehouse back. And I figured it was coming, you know. They've been very gracious about the whole situation. I'm very thankful for it and everything. And so what I have done is, we got all the motorcycle parts moved today, 2 motorcycle lifts, a frame with a rear wheel front end assembled on it. Got those moved. At one of my properties, I got a 20-foot container, and that's where the motorcycle parts went. Well, I've got a 40-foot container that I've purchased, and I'm going to get it moved to another property, actually a friend of mine. So I'll pay basically lot rent. It's $100 a month to put this trailer there, 40-foot container. And the rest of the stuff coming out of the warehouse is going to go there. Well, here's the thing is that I am not going to do, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a sale in 2 weeks. Going to have a big sale at the warehouse, get rid of a bunch of stuff, just blow it out, sell it cheap. One of the things that I found for myself is that it's great to have a large space where you can file stuff. Thank God for my associate Carla, because she remembers stuff and she remembers what we have there and everything. And I'll give you an example. I went and bought a compressor and used it a couple times, and guess what? Lo and behold, we had another compressor at the warehouse, so I didn't need to go and spend that money on that compressor. There you go. All right. And even talking with my buddy Jerome that's got 36 properties, you know, and told him about this, he said, man, he said, I have found that if you don't use it within 30 days, unless thousands and thousands of dollars, it's just not worth keeping. You're just better off not having that space, not having that clutter, not having to deal with it, because it rents space in your mind. And he said, what I do is, you know, I just go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get the stuff, whatever it is I need on demand, so to speak. And so, with that all being said, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at different ways and everything, different opportunities having to do with money, and I would love to have a piece of property with a bunch of containers set up and people renting. And a friend of mine and I did that, and, you know, we were getting $200 a month for it. Well, you know, that's a smoking deal, considering you can get a nice, really nice 40-foot container delivered for about $5,000 set on your property. And then you figure 2 years, you got all your money back. 2.5 years, you got all your money back. And there's virtually nothing that can go wrong with that container. It ain't going to blow away. No tornado going to take it or anything like that. And so, you know, that's one of those opportunities to make money. And the thing, though, is behind that I need to look at myself, and I encourage all of you to look at this as well, as having to do with our mindset. So the thing about it is when I say that having to do with the mindset, it's really asking ourselves, what is it that makes us, for lack of better words, feel warm and fuzzy having to do with it? And when I say it, I'm talking about the wealth journey, investing money, becoming financially independent, becoming financially free, designing that ideal life. Now, here's the thing is that I can't imagine going to anybody and saying, would you like to tell me what your ideal life is? Travel, you know, go see this, go be able to do this and everything, spend money on the grandkids, you know, I want a new Corvette, whatever that is. And then asking them and saying, well, let me ask you this. If you had to live that life, would you really do it? I honestly believe the majority of people would not. I know, shocker. And the reason for that is because they don't see themselves doing it. How does that translate to you and I? great example. I have a lot of people, or I know a lot of people that I talk with having to do with financial independence, about investing, okay? Generally speaking, a decent investment, in my opinion, is a 5 to 7% return. Not right now, because inflation is at 9%, probably closer to 12 to 15%. I just went to the grocery store. I never looked at the price on anything that I bought. I thank you, God. All right. But I looked at the total when I cashed out. It was $44. I got 2 things of coffee, 2 things of creamer, a thing of ice cream, and bam! Prices have definitely gone up in the last year. All right. The whole thing that I'm getting at is, you know, generally speaking, 5 to 7% is a good return. 7 to 10%, 7 to 11% is a great return. Anything over 11%, generally speaking, is phenomenal. Okay? The national average, or not the national, but the average that you should look at is that whatever you have working for you, you should have it invested in a situation where you can withdraw 4% of it and it's not going to diminish the principal. What do we mean by that? Glad you asked. The thing about it is that if you have $1 million working for in the stock market, index funds, paying your dividends, mainly like that, is that you should only withdraw $40,000 and use that money to live off of. And that's right. You're going to pay all your taxes, all your insurance, all your expenses, car payments, all that stuff. That's what you're going to pay out of that, okay? And the thing about it is, you should not diminish the principal, okay? Because once we start eating into the principal, then our money that we're going to get every month is going to go lower and lower and lower. Now, I say all of that because it's amazing the amount of people that I come across that have considerable chunks of money sitting in the bank. $2, $3, $4, $5, $1 million sitting in the bank. And I have a 98.9% accuracy in my belief why it is that they do that. Because it makes them feel warm and fuzzy. They get some type of satisfaction. There's a pleasure in being able to look at their app. Oh, look at those numbers. Man, look at that. And unfortunately, they don't understand that they're losing money. But that doesn't concern them, and it's not painful, okay? It's real painful for me when I looked at the properties that I had that were vacant, that had been vacant, that had been sitting, okay? And we did that. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do these. We're going to save money. We're going to do them in-house. If we had done that like that on schedule, I would have saved a lot of money. Okay. Now, here's the thing about it is that I didn't. Okay. And the payments were either very small or I paid for them in cash. And therefore, it wasn't very painful with the ones in cash and then the small one. I got one house that's a fixer-upper I bought. The payments on it is $189 a month. Okay. October 1st, I should have that property up and going, and that will bring in about $1,500 a month. All right. Now, here's the thing. By that time, that property will have sat almost 48 months. So you figure that that's close to real close to $70,000 that I have missed out on because I did not plan correctly. Okay. Now, I say all of this to let you know that what I found, and I worked with a coach, oh yeah, and I actually paid them, oh yeah. You tend to get a lot more out of mentorships when you pay somebody for their time instead of saying, hey man, let me just bend your ear and everything like that, because 9 times out of 10 what happens is that when somebody does that with me, it's like, well, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. They'll ask a question and then they're like, well, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong and what I'm doing and everything. Okay, then why'd you call me? Well, I wanted to hear what you had to say. No, you were really looking for some validation on that you were making the correct decision. It's not what I would do, but hey, if it works for you and everything like that, I mean, you ain't got to get mad. I'm not getting mad. I'm just stating a simple fact. You're really not looking for what it is that I think, because I know that when I go and talk to somebody and they have opposing views and I want to know what they think, I never debate. I always ask, And if they say, I don't like this, then I'll try to keep on going with it, and I'll share a story with you, okay? Now, the thing about it is, building wealth, getting rich, assets, a lot of this stuff is not fun, and it really doesn't do anything to make us feel warm and fuzzy, okay? And if you want to beat 90% of people out there, put your money into something that's going to do better than 7.5%, and you got it, okay? But a lot of times that's not going to be way cool, okay? Crypto, oh, Bitcoin. Let me get into some Bitcoin and everything. Bitcoin, yeah. It feels warm and fuzzy. It's cool. It's hip. It's what's happening, baby. Yeah, you got your groove on. You got your Bitcoin, okay? Well, that's part of the thing is that we're going to do those things that make us feel warm and fuzzy, okay? How many of you all have ever thought of doing a private mortgage? Hello? Bueller? Exactly, okay? Now, there's two ladies in town that I borrowed money from. They get 8%. They've done some mortgages for me. One of them actually loaned me, did a cash out refi. She's getting 8% on $50,000, and I'm paying her back over 5 years. Now, here's the thing. That's not glamorous and that's not sexy. And you have probably never heard anybody ever tell you, I do private mortgages. It's a huge way to make money, okay? And if you start going through the portfolios, the foundation of your big financial institutions, guess what they have? They have mortgages. Guess what mortgages are? It's real estate. So the thing is that they're doing something that most people will not do. And here's the other part of it is that their investment will never totally go away because they always have it by the property. Most of you all don't have an issue sending your money off to GE, Ford, Chrysler, Southern Company, somebody like that. And guess what? If that business goes out tomorrow, Monday announcement, Reuters, press alert, GE totally out of business. Guess what? You're screwed. You're totally out. And if you even got the paper stock, the certificate, yeah, they got stock certificates. If you got that, guess what? You can put it on the wall, do wallpaper with it. That's it. That's all you get, okay? I say all of this to let and get you to start thinking, because building wealth is extremely logical. It's not fun. It's not fancy. It's not sexy. It doesn't look good in heels. You can't drop the clutch and pop a wheelie with it. You're not going to do a burnout. You're not going to pull up to, the Circle K, with the top down and watch people look at you and everything like that. It ain't going to happen, okay? What will happen is that when you're taking pictures of being on your trip in Bora Bora or going to, the mountains in North Carolina and taking your helicopter ride, people will start saying things like, it must be nice. Well, if you work 6 days a week for 12 years like I have, you'd be able to say, I know exactly why he's able to go on a helicopter ride with his mom, okay? And I've also taken some risk. And guess what? A lot of people will tell you rental property sucks. A lot of people tell you it's scary. A lot of people tell you you'll do evictions. A house could burn down. You could get sued. Yes, you get sued. All of those things can happen. That's the reality of investing. This all has to do with the mindset. And the mindset is, I have very little money in cash on hand except for enough to last for about 6 months, 6 to 9 months, okay? I got some credit cards with extremely high balances on them, or not high balances, but high credit limits with very low balances on them, okay? I deal, generally speaking, 95% of what I do is in cash, okay? As far as, debit card transactions, things of that nature. The rest of it, though, is in play, all right? I got it working for me because every dollar is a soldier in the war on poverty. And the thing about it is that very few people want to get involved with that. I know a person that had 30-something thousand with somebody, and they told them about some type of annuity thing having to do with insurance company. You pay in this and everything like that. So they sought no other counsel. They're not an investor. They have done no investing in their life except for putting money into an IRA, okay? So what happens? After about 4 or 5 months, she gets a letter in the mail saying, guess what? Now we have attorneys and everything because of something that this fund or whatever it is doing and everything. So now she doesn't know if she'll ever see that 30 grand back. I offered, said, hey, do me a favor. Let's go talk to 3 different advisors, see what they all had to say. Because one thing I do know is the vast majority of advisors, if they lose everything for you because of a suggestion you take from them, they still get up the next morning, okay? They don't get paid on how much you make. They get paid on how much you invest. They call it a product. You'll notice it's called a product. When you go and talk to them, oh, well, we have this product and we have that product and everything. It's the same as when you go to a casino and use chips. The casino would not make anywhere close to the amount of money they make if everybody was playing with $100 bills, guaranteed, okay? So what does this person do? Next, oh, I went and put 70,000 thing, and I was like, well, what's it paying? Well, 4.5%, 50% less than what inflation is doing. I just had to get it out of my savings, okay? That money is a burden to this person. They don't want to think about it. They don't want to have to deal with it. And why do you think that is? You know, I came across another customer. They're a teacher, went there. They got some issues with the house and everything. They bought this house, didn't get an inspection done on it. So now they're sitting there saying and everything, and we're talking, and it's like they can't afford a roof, okay? And really, she can't afford to live in the house, all right? And we get to talking and everything, and she's a teacher, okay? There's some professions that you just need to understand, unless it's a very specialized niche, you're just not going to get paid a whole lot of money, okay? Teaching in my state, especially my county, this is one of them, all right? I fully believe they ought to be getting paid virtually minimum 10 grand a year more, but they're not, okay? They sign up for it. The writing's on the wall. They already know going into it, hey, I'm going to live a pauper-like lifestyle. I'm not saying that it's right, but life's a trade, okay? Here's the thing. You become an underwater welder. You're walking into a job that pays $300,000 a year. Right? Your life expectancy is 2 to 5 years if you make it that long, all right? It's a trade. You know what it is going into it. I said all that. We get to talking and start to talk with her and everything, and she was like, you know, and we got on, of course, we got on the topic of money, and then she's like, well, you need to understand is that I was married, and this guy had this business, it was doing these couple million a year and everything like that, and then all of a sudden one day it's like, hey, I'm done, I'm gone, I'm out of here, and I don't want this relationship any longer or anything like that. Because I kept asking her having to do with the money and everything. You know, she kept giving me excuses on why she shouldn't be doing better and what prevents her from doing like a side hustle or something of that nature, you know. And she was like, well, what do you suggest? I was like, hey, go get a job at Navy Federal. You know, they start out real good and everything. You're a degreed professional. You know, somebody like you would be in demand with them and everything like that. And so she kept on telling me why that couldn't happen and everything. And so finally, I figured it out and said, you know, you did not have the money. You came into money that somebody else had. Well, yeah, and I got told all you need to do is be pretty and don't worry about a thing. And I said, well, guess what? You're a kept woman. Somebody else was paying your bills, okay? There's a trade-off for that. The golden rule is the one that makes the gold, or the one that has the gold, they make the rules, okay? Well, guess what? He was the rule maker. He had the gold, all right? Doesn't make the situation right, and I'm not trying to downplay it or anything. But here's the thing, folks, is that if you're not financially independent, you're always going to be a slave to somebody else, you know? And as a good friend of mine says, have that screw you money, then you're in a bad situation because you're always worried about having to make that next dollar, all right? I say all of this because that lady had a negative connotation having to do with money, and that will always keep her from doing any better, all right? The words abundant, prosperity, rich, prosperous, all of those words are in the Bible. Nowhere in the Bible does it say mediocrity. It does not tell you you're supposed to live a mediocre life. It doesn't say that anywhere. These are just some ramblings from Robert the Redneck here in Pensacola. That's after some financial freedom himself, enjoying a cup of coffee with you. Have yourself a very fantastic day. All of this, plus what you paid for your cup of coffee, hey, it was worth every dime. Take care.